Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Hello and welcome to the WrestleRamble number 10. This is Luke Owen, I'm Ollie Davis, and today we'll be asking, should WWE fire JBL? And we'll be playing our first game of fantasy booking warfare, where we'll be trying to come up with a way where the New Day can break up and who should win out of the two scenarios. If you want to go straight there, click the video timestamps in the video description below, or stay here for some Ramble chat. Oh, I struggled with that intro.
That's the third or fourth time, and actually we had to do the intro for the first episode, the one that went up yesterday, around 3 or 4 times then as well.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't feel as on it as I think it's the name change of the show.
Yeah, that will throw you off
because that WrestleTalk show is very similar to the WrestleTalk News.
Yes,
which I say so many times every day.
Yep.
Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome.
I even heard you at one point go, "Hello and welcome to the Wrestle..." Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And then we had to start
It's
again.
not the WrestleTalk News.
Yeah.
It used to be when we did the Flickering Myth podcast. I would just hello and welcome to the Flickering Myth. It's the other one. It's because everything has the same hello and welcome.
You're a man of, that's the best way to put this, because I love your introductions.
Habits.
You are a man of habits, absolutely.
Well,
I was like that as a drummer. I was not a very good drummer because I wasn't taught how to be one. Didn't get lessons or anything. So when I went into a studio to record the demo for the band that I was in, I had to kind of like learn on the job how to play to a click track, which I to this day still cannot do. And the engineer we had there said, like, what's very funny is you're making a mistake, but you make the same mistake in the same place every single time, because I'm a creature of habit. As soon as I've got something in my head, I just do the same thing over and over again.
Just think of it as you're mastering an art form. It was Bruce Lee who said, "I do not fear the man who knows 1,000 kicks. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 1,000 times."
Man, I mean, what a great philosophizer Bruce Lee was.
Yeah, an ass kicker.
And an ass kicker. And speaking of ass kickers, I personally like the philosophy behind Shinsuke Nakamura, who says, "I have a black belt in professional wrestling."
That's an accreditation that you can do. That as Austin Aries is face nose. We face nose.
Yes,
face. Weird.
His face nose, not face nose.
Face nose.
Yeah.
It's
a good name for a band.
We won't go on with this ramble chat because we've actually got quite a lot to discuss in today's episode. So should we get straight to the hot topic?
Yes.
This is a sensitive one, and there seems to be two camps. YouTube comments aren't the best way to judge those two camps because to me they both seem to they sound like 70% are poor Mauro Ranallo. WWE doesn't seem to be a nice place to work, whereas there's 30% who say, just man up. Bullying doesn't exist after a certain age.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I will always side with Mauro Ranallo, and I will always side with Justin Roberts, and I will always side with anyone who was bullied working for WWE.
You wouldn't side with other people who are bullied elsewhere.
No.
They had it coming to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but within WWE, I particularly. Yeah, and I mean, I'm a defender of victims. I am never one to victim blame. I was someone as you could probably tell by looking at me. I was bullied a lot at school.
I bet you were.
Yeah, got a lot of that. It's like, oh, that guy's wearing a Marilyn Manson hoodie. Clearly, he's a dick. Beat him up. So I used to get a lot of that. Like, are you wearing Converse? Duff, duff, duff. Yeah, what are you listening to?
These days, you'd be praised.
Well, yeah. Oh, here's the thing. I look at it now. If I got beaten up for reading comic books when I was a kid. Now I'd be the coolest kid in school.
Cool,
I'd be the coolest kid there because I knew everything.
I used to. It's the joke in Jump Street in the first Jump Street movie. I've always been a double strapper. For rucksacks. I've always been a double... you have the rucksack on both shoulders.
And
protection. Jonah Hill walks into school. He's got the double straps, and Channing Tatum's like, "Man, what are you doing? Put it on one shoulder."
Yeah.
And now society's changed, or kid culture's changed. It's like, no, that's the acceptable thing to do now.
Yeah.
And it's cool to care about stuff.
Yes.
Because when we were young, it was not cool to care about stuff.
No, it was not.
If you cared about something like wrestling or comic books, everyone would make fun of you for it. So
was-
you bury it deep down.
Do you know what was
And we
weird?
didn't have the internet
Do you know what was weird?
to talk about it to other people.
Right,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm
I was
getting
going to say.
into
I mean,
a
I
whole state now.
had Angel Fire boards that I would go on and talk to
Yeah,
other wrestling
mine-
fans. But I was lucky in the sense that the kids who bullied me, and they were quite bad at bullying me and making my life hell, like not wanting to go
Hmm.
to school levels of bad, hiding in the toilets at school levels of bad. But
sorry.
well, that's fine, man. You know, I'm 31 now. You know,
You're winning.
I'm winning.
you-
I've seen some of them since, and
What
I've
are they doing?
well, one of them actually got arrested for flashing a woman in a public park.
Wow.
So, so who's winning there? I
Bad life
suppose?
choices.
Yeah, he did make
The
bad
woman,
life choices.
maybe.
I don't know. But clearly, he made some bad life choices,
Yes.
and so he was in the paper and everything.
Wow.
I have been in the paper for making movies and writing a book, so I feel like I might have won that war. But I'm not.
So
I'm not,
far.
I'm not counting scores. Oh yeah,
Yeah. I'm not ruling out running into a
I mean,
park
it just might happen.
with a long coat on.
Sometimes I go into a park, my pants fall down. Like these things happen. Accidents happen.
Accidents
like
happen.
Jinder knocking out Finn Balor. Accidents happen. But anyway, I was lucky in the sense that some of the kids that bullied me also liked wrestling.
Huh.
So when they weren't like beating me up or cheating off my tests and like getting me to do homework or getting me to do their homework,
Yeah.
they would talk to me about wrestling.
What, while you're in a headlock getting a noogie?
No, like just in general, like they'd come up to me at lunch and I'd be like, "Whoa," and they'd be like, "No, I was a pay-per-view last night. Like, what did you think?" And then we would just talk about wrestling.
How bizarre.
It was very weird. Yeah, it was very weird. And then later in the week, I'd be wearing my corn hoodie, and then I'd get beaten up for that instead.
Oh, so the wrestling was a pass, but any kind of
Yeah.
harder metal.
Which is weird as well, because in that period, when I was at school and being bullied a lot, metal was so infused with WWF culture.
Yeah, it was Marilyn Manson used to do the SmackDown song.
Oh, this is well before then, but
okay.
but like Disturbed did Austin's theme tune,
Sure.
and like every pay per view had a Drowning Pool song, or it would have a Seether song, or it would have like these
I love drowning.
like
Let the
these
bodies hit the
yeah,
floor.
like it would have these new metal garbage
Yeah.
bands like doing all their theme songs. So it just seems weird that I'd be like I was bullied for one of those things, but not that. I feel like we've gone way off topic here.
Yes, and you know what we haven't done? We haven't actually said what we're talking about. So the Ramble chat has bled in to the part
yeah.
where people click the timestamps
Yeah.
to go to. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, timestamp people.
Sorry.
Who,
Well,
who probably aren't here.
This is though, it is kind of in that because I was saying that I'm one
Yes.
to defend or be on the side of Mauro Ranallo and Justin
It's
Roberts.
context setting.
It is context setting. I'm on their side.
For the purpose of a spirited debate, though. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. Those were they weren't even burns. They were more like massages.
They
weren't
were
they?
they were very nice actually.
I was working it. I was working a Chinese burn. Test the strength.
I'll be like,
We could be wrestlers.
I did. I maybe I should have sold it like Shawn Michaels when he was selling it as Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Flip all over the place.
Yes. So, okay. Back to this. I think it's because it's a serious topic and natural impulse is to run away and make fun of other things.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so what's happened is Mauro Ranallo hasn't been on television since, I want to say the 14th of March SmackDown. So that's the first one he missed. It was mid-March, whenever it was. And initially, WWE said it's bad weather because that one, there was actually quite a lot of scares because it was a big snowstorm, didn't know if everyone could get there. Ranallo and David Otunga were the only people who didn't get there. Otunga because he was filming something, though, so he already had off. But WWE said bad weather conditions. The week after, still wasn't there. He was off sick. That was and now it still hasn't been officially confirmed. But people who know Mauro Ranallo, who are quite good friends with him, Bas Rutten, for instance, the former UFC champion, and Dave Meltzer seems to be pretty tight with him, and he's spoken about it as well.
Yep.
And Mauro Ranallo is a sufferer of bipolar condition, first diagnosed at the age of 1989. Yes, I've read his Wikipedia page, and it seemed Ranallo is off WWE reportedly for his latest bout of depression. And it seems, based on what all these sites are reporting and various anecdotal stories, is it's because JBL was an asshole to him.
Yeah. Yes, if reports are to be believed,
yeah.
which, let's be honest, they more or less are to be believed.
Yeah, the major incident that everyone is citing is when Mauro Ranallo tweeted about winning the Wrestling Observer Announcer of the Year award, which is fantastic. But apparently there's a weird culture in WWE where if you tweet or publicize any awards from outside your own promotion, you're going to get backstage heat for that. And that's what happened with Morrow. JBL was said to be furious that he did that, when Morrow's just a nice guy. He was like, cheers, guys.
Yeah.
He tweeted me back once.
Did he really? How nice guy.
It was, I can't remember what pay-per-view it was, but it was pretty much at the end of the pay-per-view. Was it the chairs match with Kalisto? So that would have been TLC. Sorry, I've been watching lots of Parks and Recreation recently, and I'm talking to you like Rob Lowe's character.
Yes.
I'm not going to point to you anymore.
Man, you've got far in that.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of episodes. I only started it 2 weeks ago.
I know, you're like really far ahead.
We've nearly finished season 3.
Good work.
Yeah.
I told you it was better once you left.
It's great.
Told you, man.
This is a different conversation. We don't want to talk about the serious stuff. So where was I?
JBL
Got the announcer award. And
well, JBL done.
So JBL's furious about this, and he, on the Bring It to the Table network show, JBL went off on Mauro Ranallo.
Oh yeah, didn't he just?
About how he's a geek and he tweets about stuff and nobody really cares and it's a worthless award. He's not a good announcer. I watched that at the time and I thought, JBL's having a laugh because he's the heel character.
Yeah.
Turns out that was actually very mean-spirited, and that kind of seems to be the straw that broke the camel's back. To me, like, that one isolated incident seems very, very, it's hardly anything, because you can just explain it away as it's a heel move by a heel character.
Yeah.
So my impression, just me from an outside armchair psychologist perspective, is that this is something that's been going on forever. And JBL has just been making little digs, or it's just a very tense work environment. And then this, I've got something, I won an award. And then you get heat for that.
Yeah.
You get heat for being really good at your job.
Yeah, it's all a lot of this stuff has kind of been known. People have read books. A lot of like disgruntled ex-WWE employees have left and written books that have been like, man, working backstage is a nightmare because you say the wrong thing in wherever, and all of a sudden you get in trouble. JTG.
His book as well.
Yeah, like in his book, he wrote that he was doing an interview for WWE magazine, and he accidentally at one point said hustle, loyalty, respect. Like, that's what him and Shad fight for. And he's like, oh, don't print that because I'll get in trouble for it. And apparently, like, they had this big whole merchandising thing that they were going to do, and they had all this...
It was glasses, I
That's
think.
the glasses,
yeah.
Like the
Kanye West
Kanye
ones.
West, like, shades, yeah.
Or Daft Punk, I think Daft Punk did it first. I don't know. Carry on.
Cool kids had them.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't. I like Marilyn Manson.
I was getting beaten up for wearing those.
And so they had like this merchandising all set up and everything. And then that magazine did get printed, and that quote got printed. And then JTG was approached in a bathroom by John Cena, who just said, saw your interview with WWE magazine. I hope your merchandise goes well, or words to that effect. And then just the merchandise was squashed, and that gimmick never took off.
Yeah.
And it's you say the one thing wrong, and it annoys someone who has got clout within the company, someone like a JBL, then all of a sudden you become public enemy number one. It's why Justin Roberts' book is just riddled with this, because no one liked Justin Roberts. You see JBL's response to Justin Roberts'
no
book.
one liked.
This is on
Twitter.
Yeah, no one liked him. He's an idiot. I was like, well, good way to defend yourself there, JBL.
Yeah, you don't sound like a bully at all.
No. Have you ever read Bob Holly's book?
Well, no, but your friend wrote
My
it.
friend did write it, with Bob Holly, obviously. And there's an amazing story in there about JBL or when he was Bradshaw, trying to bully Steve Blackman. And he was drunk, like really, really drunk, and was trying to start a fight with Steve Blackman, because Steve Blackman was the lethal weapon. And he was like, oh, you're not...
He is one of like the last guys in the world, I would annoy.
Yeah, and this is it. And so JBL was trying to start trouble with him, like jokingly trying to annoy him, and Steve Blackman's getting more and more and more annoyed. Anyway, Steve snaps, and Ron Simmons has to break up the fight. Bob Holly has to try and pull him back, and apparently on the drive they were making to the next town, Steve Blackman was just sat in the back of the car seething the entire time. And JBL happened to be in the same hotel they went to, and Blackman was just going to go for him, and people was backing off saying oh no, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean anything.
Like a proper bully.
Like a proper bully.
As soon as he's challenged,
just back off, and he just said you never get booked in the same hotel as me ever again. And apparently JBL never spoke to him after that.
I mean, there's countless stories. There's the thing about Edge in the shower and JBL. This is in Edge's authorized WWE biography that JBL comes into their shower and starts soaping his behind.
Yeah, we did the same thing to Brian Christopher as well, Jerry Lawler's son.
Yes, yeah, of course, Grandmaster Sex A.
Grandmaster Sex A.
And there's Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy told a story where JBL said you should put all of, I don't like this guy, I can't remember what his name was, but you should put all these toothpicks in his rental car lock and break them off so he can't get in.
Yes.
And it's like, well, that's...
Oh,
but
yeah,
that's real. There's making jokes and pranks like, Owen Hart level stuff, where you tip water on someone's head, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But there's
where Xbox and you poo in someone's bag.
I think that's crossing a line somewhere.
Randy Orton did the same thing as well, and she might be coming back to the company.
Yeah, but there's who's that? Is that
Maria.
Maria, yeah. Kanellis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the. I read that today. Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis.
Yeah, I'm going straight to SmackDown.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton did a big old poo in a bag.
Yeah, Viper poo. I wonder if it looks
PS2 graphics.
like the LCD. You seen what he interviewed about that?
Oh, he was at Comic-Con. Yeah,
yeah,
he was really upset about it.
I looked like I was walking on a giant sperm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny.
But there's other incidents.
There's loads of these stories, and like the Justin Roberts one really broke my heart. Of like just stealing his passport and like forcing him then to go to the U.S. Embassy and get a new passport
and a new flight, which is pretty expensive
on his own dime. And then here's the thing with the bullying that goes on with WWE. Be a star, kids. Is that it's an ingrained culture, and it's an ingrained culture from the top. Because when Justin Roberts was in a meeting, Vince McMahon came up to him and said, "Don't forget your passports."
That was so Justin Roberts flew back from London, drove cross country to get to wherever SmackDown was. Took him hours and hours and hours. He does the production meeting, and then at the end of the production meeting, Vince McMahon walks out and says, "Don't
forget your passport." And that's when Justin Roberts realised, I'm not going to get any sympathy for what happened. And it's an ingrained culture, and it is like wrestling is a very weird bubble. It's a very weird bubble where these sorts of things
WWE. I feel like most other wrestling companies have evolved and come with the times.
Yes, but like Ribs have been a part of the wrestling bubble for decades.
Since its inception.
Since its inception, Ribs have been a part of, and it has been like Owen Hart, funny Ribs. But there is now like a group of people who have taken, and this has been doing it for decades now themselves, have taken Ribs too far to the point where it is just it's not funny, it's bullying. And that to me is a really, really serious issue.
Yeah.
Or they should just man up and get over it.
Yeah, so that's the problem. If it's not nice, imagine if you're working in that environment.
Yeah.
Where you're constantly treading on eggshells. You hate going to work.
If I was working in WWE, I'd be the bullied kid. Yeah. And I would hate going to my job. A dream job, and I would be proper bullied for it.
Yeah, that's the exact sort of people who are going to be targeted for getting bullied are going to be people like us. If we ever got jobs with WWE.
So, but one of my favourite ones is Matt Hardy, Edge, Lita. There was a story, not a storyline. There was a real life drama in which Edge and Lita began to have an affair, and Matt Hardy lost his job as a result, like through various means in this. And Matt Hardy was actually treated like the loser in this situation, because essentially the way that Matt tells the story is that upper management looked at him and was just like, "Oh my God, you mean you lost your girlfriend? What kind of man are you? You're clearly such a loser. That's why you lost your woman." So when he came back, it was just like, "Well, you're nothing but a jobber because you lost a woman." And Vince McMahon has always said you can't be a champion because you don't look like you would be a champion.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I can see where the ribs come from. Back in the day, because when it was a very closed shop, when kayfabe was very protected, when you didn't want people to know that professional wrestling was a work, was predetermined, you would try and haze out the people who weren't tough enough and scare them into not coming back, or you would legitimately shoot on them. But I feel like wrestling, everyone's in on the gag now for a long time. So I don't think there's any place. The thing that I keep coming back to when I think about this is that ECW One Night Stand show where JBL kicked the crap out of Blue Meanie.
Poor old Blue Meanie.
And that by then that's a publicly traded company. And people, friends I've spoken to have been like, yeah, but he was, he had heat backstage. It's how you show in this modern day and age who.
Yeah.
respect.
Well, it's
I'm
like,
what the hell are you you're talking about legitimately beating someone up in a worked ring? That's not
that's
cool.
what Bradshaw's role has always been.
Yeah,
It's like when
and Bob Holly's.
and Bob Holly and Farouk, funny enough, actually, when Public Enemy came into WWF at the time, because Public Enemy came in being like, "Hey guys, like we're the new tag team around here. We're former ECW champions. We're going to be a big deal in this company." So the first thing the Acolytes did was go out there and just beat the ever-loving F out of them and said, like, "Don't you ever come back here again," and just beat them up to the point that they never wanted to wrestle again.
So this storm between Mauro Ranallo and JBL has erupted into a hashtag, which is Fire JBL, hashtag Fire JBL. And Roger from Ontario emailed into us, WrestleRamble.
Thanks.
If you want to email in.
Thanks, Roger.
It's Ollie@WrestleTalk.tv. That's OLI at WrestleTalk.tv. Kind of forgot the name of my own email address there. And he said, does JBL deserve to be fired, or is this a human resources / behaviour support matter? Goes on to it's a long email, but it essentially is what we've been talking about. Is it JBL's fault? Should he be punished directly, or is this a larger corporate thing in WWE that needs to be changed?
I think that whether he should be fired or not is a different matter, because he's never going to be fired, really. I haven't said that. I mean, Hulk Hogan was, he was fired. He was let go of his contract for saying bad things in a sex tape, an elite sex tape.
WWE will do anything to get themselves
away
out of
from
the
bad
PR storm.
press.
Pat Patterson, when he was fired.
Yeah, totally. But for some reason JBL is so protected that he will never be fired. I don't think he ever will be fired. But man,
Macho Man's down again.
Macho Man doesn't like it either. But I do think something needs to be done or said. This is a publicly traded company with shareholders.
And a Be a Star.
Campaign. It's not sponsorship. It's their thing.
Yeah. It's their
own organisation. Something needs to be done and something needs to be said. Like, JBL has been so, like, the last couple of weeks on commentary has been nothing but nice. I mean, he is sat next to Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton, the number one bullied commentator, apart from Mauro Ranallo. But like Mauro, on TV, JBL was never mean to Mauro. He was always mean to David Otunga.
Yeah.
And he was always mean to Byron Saxton. But like now he's sitting there and he's like, Byron, it's good to see you. It's great to have you on this show. Can't wait to do commentary with you.
You know what the bad thing is? It's made him a worse commentator because he's put down to actually very funny. Even James Ellsworth hasn't got the usual JBL vitriol poured on him. I think to fire JBL, I don't really want to weigh in on that issue, but I think to do that would be just to get rid of a symptom. The actual cause of the problem is way up high with Vince McMahon. This is a new part of the show. We're going to try it out. It's called Fantasy Booking Warfare, which is a play on the overused term from Survivor Series when Brock Lesnar and Goldberg finally went at it again.
You want to talk about overused overused vernacular within WWE.
I feel like that was the first one I really noticed as of late. It was that one, and then it was, I guess there was a Demon King, like you said in August.
And Championship Opportunity, when they stopped saying title shot.
And then the Ultimate Thrill Ride, end of the line. Anyway, so this is a new thing. Luke, you propose booking scenarios, and Luke and I will each come up with a scenario, and you vote on who you thinks is the best at the end of the video.
Are we going to have one of those polls?
It's going to have a poll and everything.
Right.
What's going to happen is I'm going to put it up. I'm going to forget to put the poll on. People are going to comment there's no poll, and then I'm going to put a poll up. So this first one comes from Ben Rossiter, who emailed in to say, should the New Day break up? If so, how would you do it? By the way, love the channel and that WrestleTalk show. It's now called WrestleRamble, but I'll let you have that one.
For God's sake, Ben,
so,
keep up.
First up, fantasy booking the New Day breakup. Luke.
Okay, so this is a brand new segment of the show, and thankfully it's a lot lighter than the conversation we were just having.
Yes.
However, Ollie got this email last week.
Sunday,
and has had some time to think about it. He told me this topic 2 hours before I arrived at the studio. So I haven't had as much time to think about this. I'm not using it as an excuse.
Well, it kind of sounds like you're setting the stage for your own failure here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to... All I'm saying is I don't think I'm going to win outright on this first one. But I feel that you will probably have a more detailed plan than I have.
I like my one.
There you go. I mean, you've had.
I only did come up with it a few hours ago, but I did spend about 50 minutes solidly thinking about it.
I was going to say, when I arrived at the studio today, Ollie said that he did do 2 hours worth of driving, and thank God he had those 2 hours because it gave him a block free of thinking.
Okay, so what's your
so I mean,
pitch?
Tag teams break up all the time, and it's always about the infighting. The Shield did it, the Dudley Boys have done it, the Hardys have done it, DX did it, NWO did it. I actually think a more refreshing way to break up the New Day is to not have one of them turn heel. And because I think it's almost impossible at this point to turn one of them heel. So I would actually have just the three of them decide that they lose a match. They lose a match in which the losing team has to disband. And that's how the New Day end up having to go their separate ways. But they always meet up backstage because they're all on the same brand, and they're always like, hey, yeah, unicorns and all that sort of garbage, bootios, ice creams, whatever, all that sort of stuff. And then down the line, they get drafted to different brands, and they all go on their own separate careers. Perhaps Xavier will just become a manager for someone. He'll become a spokesperson. He'll become a Paul Heyman for another wrestler, because that's his great skill, is his mic skill. He's a great wrestler as well, but he's also a fantastic talker. And Big E can go off and he can go into like that title picture, and Kofi Kingston can go off into a different title picture over here, and then it all builds up to that one moment when you do the New Day reunion. And it's just a natural occurrence, because it's not about infighting, it's not about them hating another or turning over a new leaf. It's just like the New Day are back together, and it's just going to be a nice moment. And that's how I would break up the New Day in the hour or so that I've had to think about it.
So have you got any specific... Because mine's quite specific
of course
things.
It is. You've had more time to think about this.
Have you got any specifics, or just
no?
They
I don't think it's the right time to split up the New Day just yet, especially now that they're on SmackDown and they can kind of start again afresh. I think you've got at least another good year out of them before they might grow stale again, and then you can just flip them back to Raw and you'll probably feel fresh again. So I think there's probably still a good year left on the New Day.
Good idea, Luke. That was really vague.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks.
We're just saying how it's almost like the WrestleRamble screw job.
I do feel like the Bret Hart in this scenario.
Yeah,
where...
Luke screwed Luke. You could have spent more time thinking about it. You've got a journey here. I just don't think you thought how much I would think about this.
This is the time where I'm now going to go to What Culture.
Okay.
with the WrestleTalk title.
Why do you keep bringing this up? So, here's my pitch for the New Day breakup. Weirdly, I also wouldn't have any of them turn heel on each other.
Oh, man. That's interesting.
That is strange.
Yeah, that is strange.
Because I think that there's a lot of love for the New Day, even though they can be quite annoying at times. We kind of created them. I think there's a lot of fan love in there. They were heels, and then we turned them face.
Well, they were babyface.
Yes, sorry.
And
attempted baby
they were
faces.
babyfaces who we hated into heels and then cheered into babyfaces. It's almost like they could have done that with Roman Reigns.
Crazy. So here is my pitch for how they would break up, though, while keeping friends. So... you sort of keep New Day away from the tag team titles up until SummerSlam. They're on SmackDown now. They can go for... and I think they won't be back for a couple of months while Kofi recovers.
Injured,
So they'll come back then, have a few matches with people like the Shining Stars, keep them face. And then finally... the Colons. The Colones. And finally at SummerSlam, they get their championship opportunity and they win the tag team titles. That's great. Now, the next night, this is based on a few specifics, because I was looking through all the roster. Who could I put them in this storyline epic feud to break them up while still keeping them friends and keeping them noble? And I looked at all the tag teams or people like emerge into tag teams, and I just couldn't see anyone. So, the night after SummerSlam, maybe that's when they'll do the second draft of the year. And in that, I would call up the Authors of Pain. Oh, you're excited now, aren't you? You like some NXT stuff.
Well, and I like my action figures.
Yeah. So the Authors of Pain come up. New Day are there. They're sort of running alongside each other, and the Authors of Pain are just killing people every week. And not just jobber teams, but name stars, and just not faces either. Sometimes they just destroy a heel team, like the Colons. They're just absolutely ruin a colon. And all the way through
happened
this.
to DJZ recently.
Yeah. Oh, tasteless joke. All the way through, Paul Ellering, who's come up with them, their manager, makes the occasional reference of the new book. So the new book of the Authors of Pain. And this book is called Doomsday.
Oh, yeah, man.
So now they're working their way up, and they're like, we're going to get a championship opportunity. And Daniel Bryan says, look, you're dangerous. You're not just, you're really hurting people here. I can't reward you with this. And like, okay. So they take out Xavier Woods backstage, like with a horrible powerbomb through loads of stuff. Xavier Woods is he's hurt, he's out. So the rest of the New Day, Kofi and Big E, say, give us a title. Let's have them at the next pay-per-view at Survivor Series. So the two teams face off at Survivor Series, and it's a good competitive match. But then Paul Ellering wheels out Xavier Woods on a wheelchair.
Should put him onto that bike thing they get on that ice cream truck.
Yeah, could be a good callback. And Kofi Kingston's distracting. He's like, oh no, Xavier Woods, and Paul Ellering pushes him off the stage or something. There's something horrible, and they're like, oh no, and that's when Authors of Pain totally take out both. They pin Big E or Kofi. 1, 2, 3. New tag team champions, Authors of Pain, and then they're like, we're not done here, because the Book of Doomsday isn't just about us becoming tag team champions. It's about us ending the New Day. The doom of the end of days. But I feel like that's what Bray Wyatt did. So they take Kofi Kingston and they take him out as well. So he's out injured as well. The next night on SmackDown, or 2 nights after on SmackDown, Big E is furious. So he's like, I want my championship rematch now. And Daniel Bryan's like, you can't go against him. You're just one guy. They'll kill you. So he's like, I want to go against them. They've taken out my 2 brothers. And so it's not just comedy now. It's actual emotion with the New Day. And the Authors of Pain, they have a sort of decent enough handicap match, but they end up killing Big E as well. Damn it. But Big E's not as bad as the other 2. He kind of wrestles in some singles competitions until the Royal Rumble, where Paul Ellering is like, the Authors of Pain, one of you is gonna become the world champion. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to win the Royal Rumble. So both Authors of Pain get in there, and they are eliminating everyone left, right, and centre. And they're the only 2 left in the ring. Then Daniel Bryan, buzzer counts down, Daniel Bryan appears on the screen. Because Daniel Bryan has sort of been semi-feuding with these guys as well, and says, well, this is a bit unusual, but we've all agreed that because SmackDown, babyface general manager, we've all agreed that the next 3 entries are going to come out simultaneously. New Day come out. They're all back. They're all healthy. They return. Then you have a massive standoff. Boom, boom, boom. Authors of Pain get eliminated. Woo, everyone's cheering. Authors of Pain are furious. And they're like, oh, we want to take the New Day out. Paul Ellering's like, no, we've got the titles. We want something back from them. Excuse me. So they say, okay, you've got to put your faction on the line. You have to break up if you don't win. And you build this to WrestleMania. Maybe you have a singles match. I was thinking Xavier Woods against one of the Authors of Pain in the pay-per-view in between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
Backlash, right?
Probably Backlash. Pre-lash. When Backslash. And Xavier Woods kind of impresses the Author of Pain, whoever it is he's facing. And the Author of Pain's like, you know what? You've got some spunk, kid. Doesn't say that. He just probably nods.
He just shouts their Authors of Pain.
Yeah, whatever language it is.
Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell that the Authors of Pain are getting a bit respectful of the New Day now. But Paul Ellering's like, no, we've got to finish the book. We've got to kill them, the Doomsday. And then it comes to WrestleMania, and it's this real slugfest. And in the end, the Authors of Pain win. But not in like a dominating way. Kind of like both these teams.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, the Authors of Pain are standing there, and Paul Ellering's like, now properly end them. Ruin their careers. And they get he throws Xavier Woods to get the
Super Collider.
The Super Collider powerbomb onto whoever's laying on the floor. And one of the Authors of Pain takes him and is like, and throws him down. I'm not going to do it. And then they both get Paul Ellering, and Xavier Woods is allowed to powerbomb Paul Ellering. Takes out Paul Ellering, and Authors of Pain walk out. They've got all the heel heat, but kind of like babyface respectful heat as well.
Babyfaces now,
yeah. And the crowd love them. And the New Day are like, we lost, fair enough. Sayonara, everybody. Everyone's clapping them. We loved you, New Day. It was a great run. They walk out and they can get drafted to separate brands the next night.
Man, okay, so I didn't realise that when you said, how would you break up the New Day, like, actually how you break them up. I went more like, well, I would just break them up.
We had the same idea.
I would just break them up, and then I would do them in these different areas. Yeah. I didn't realise that's what you meant.
Yeah, well, now this is the first time we did it.
Yeah.
So now we know for next time. I think I've won. Click the videos to the left to catch up with the last episode of WrestleRamble. That's its new name, I nearly forgot. And of course, to check out the latest episode of the WrestleTalk news. This is Luke Owen, I've been Ollie Davis, and that was WrestleRamble.